guys, my name is Crystal and welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome old subscribers, welcome new. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please do subscribe. Today is Wednesday, the middle of the week. Alexa, what's the time, please?
The time is 8:03 a.m.
Alexa, what's the date today?
It's Wednesday the 19th of October.
Alexa, the weather. Alexa, what's the weather like?
Currently, in Rochester it's 12 degrees Celsius with partly sunny skies. Today, you can expect lots of clouds, with a high of 16 degrees and a low of 12 degrees.
Alexa, can you tell me a joke?
Why can't you trust atoms? Because they make up everything.
That is true, and it is funny. Right, guys, it is Wednesday, so I didn't go to have an eye test yesterday. I had second thoughts about it. One of my exes lives in Chatham, and he was hovering around last time I went into Sainsbury's, and I didn't want a repeat performance. That's one reason. The second reason is I want to have tints on my glasses because blaring light hurts my eyes. So I've got to save up to get tints on my glasses. So I'm going to go somewhere else to have my eyes tested later on. I mean, it's pointless going for an eye test and not having enough money to get proper glasses. So the NHS pays for basic glasses and very basic frames. If you want a decent pair of glasses, you've got to put money towards them, you see. So I want to have like a tint on my glasses so that when you get glare from the sun or the snow, it doesn't hurt my eyes. So I've changed that. My doctors has not come back to me about forms for a blood test or when this scan is. So I went to the doctors for a pain in my gums and jaw and ulcers, but I've not heard anything back about that. Now, to have a blood test you need a form, a piece of paper that tells the person taking your bloods what they need to take the bloods for. So I can't tell the lady at the blood test office that because the doctor knows what she wants to test for. So I'm waiting for my doctors to come back to me, telling me where to go for this blood test and the form. I need forms. And the doctor I went to at Strood Medical Centre didn't give me a form for the blood test. So, maybe I should ring the doctors again, I don't know. So this morning I've got up, I've put my eardrop in my ear. I've taken a multivitamin tablet with iron in case I have got an iron deficiency. If my gums hurt, I'm putting gel in them, Dactarin. And again, to go to the dentist, I need £60 at least. My dentist has gone private. It's okay going for a mouth check, right? But I got quoted £800 for a root canal, £200 for a filling, and they can't take the tooth out there because they're curved roots. I did ask them to refer me somewhere else and nothing happened. So I've got to obviously go back to the dentist and have them check it out again because an abscess, gum or tooth can cause other problems to other parts of the body. last night I went for a walk on the field. It was completely empty, pitch black, no one on it at all, absolutely no one. When I came back, there was a lady laughing by the Rochester Riverside office on one of the flats going past the Rochester Riverside office to the side. A woman of about, I would say 60, was cackling. As I was walking past the Rochester office. I don't know what was funny. I walked down the side of the flats, round the back of the flats opposite me, down the back. A chap had a hood over his head and was going into a flat, a furry hooded coat over his head, and he was going into his flat with a couple of plastic bags. Now, I'd been to the co-op that afternoon to get a pasty for today's dinner and other bits and pieces, so I wasn't hungry yesterday. Don't you forget that I went to my mum's on Monday and had that takeaway. Although it was horrible, it was food. Yesterday I went to the co-op and I got some things to eat. I got some crisps. I got some other bits. I got some strawberries, which I'll show you. I got some strawberries from the co-op yesterday. Strawberries there and a Cornish pasty, so I'm not hungry, am I? I also got some milk. While you've got milk, you can eat cereal, can't you? And when you've got milk, you can eat cereal. Now, I'm not ashamed to show my face. You see, I don't walk around with a hood over my head. There's no need to. I don't hide with a hood over my head. I'm not ashamed of myself, and I'm happy with the way that I look, where I am, the year I'm in, how old I am, right? I've been young. I didn't like it, right? I was bullied, and my school life was made hell. I like where I am now, who I am now, the age I am now, and I'm not ashamed of myself, so you won't see me hiding my head under a hood. Right? A hood is there for a reason, to shelter you from the rain, to keep you warm. It's not to hide under, do bad stuff and put a hood over your head. That's not what a hood is for. So it's not me. I don't go around with a hood over my head unless it's raining, and I usually use an umbrella. Right? I'm a good person, not a bad person. I don't do bad things, right? So anyone copying and pretending to be me and making out I'm nasty and horrible, I attack people, that is not me, okay? I'm a nice person. I like to help. I don't like to cause harm. I'm also a woman going through the perimenopause, and it's awful. I've got aches and pains everywhere. I go hot, I go cold. I've got a jumper on this morning, but then I'll need to take it off and put a vest on because I go hot, I go cold. There was a piece about in the paper yesterday where a man wore a vest that mimics the symptoms of the menopause, the hot flushes. And he said how hard it was, to go around feeling like that. It makes you irritable. Hot flushes make you irritable, you see. But even though I'm going through this, I don't go outside shouting at people and getting cross. Alexa, can you put LBC radio on?
LBC London from Global Player.
Indeed, he has a piece in one of the newspapers today, the Daily Express. He joins me now. We'll talk financially in a moment. Politically, Sir Steve, where does Liz Truss, and indeed Mr Hunt for that matter, go with this decision about the triple lock? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sure they will implement the triple lock. I think what's happened is Jeremy Hunt spotted they weren't going to get any credit for it because everyone just assumed it was baked in. The Prime Minister said it would happen, it was in the manifesto, they said it was broken for 1 year only. So I think he sat and said, I'm about to spend how many billion and we're going to get no credit for it? So it's basically rowing back from it, paying for Conservatives on the media for 10 days, and then he produces a rabbit from a hat on the 31st and says, I've listened, I care about pensioners, here's a triple lock.
Right, there's the political side of you, and well interpreted, Sir Steve. On the financial aspect, how crucial is it? The journalist Josephine there was saying there are people, and a fair point, a lot of people, elderly people, are going to need the heat probably more than, say, you or I.
That's absolutely right, and I think it's two things coming together next April if they're not careful. So one would be a squeeze on the state pension, but the Chancellor's also announced the end to the energy support, the universal energy support. So whilst I don't doubt he'll help poor pensioners on benefit, many middle-income pensioners really will feel the squeeze, and actually the energy hit could be 3 or 4 times as big as the loss from the triple lock. So, fun enough, if I was a middle-income pensioner, I'd be far more worried about what they do to the energy bill support, because that could be thousands.
Lastly, before I let you go, as someone who, it wasn't that long ago, you were regularly crossing the portal at Number 10, holding a series of meetings with other senior ministers and indeed the Prime Minister. Just a brief reflection on what you see going on with the Conservative Party right now.
I suppose when
that
you
was
have
a sign. That was a
yeah,
sign.
Well, I'm trying to be as calm as I can, really. I mean, when you have a Chancellor and a Prime Minister just pulling in completely opposite directions, I mean, we even had Jeremy Hunt to say, windfall taxes? Yeah, I can't see anything wrong with them. I mean, there just doesn't seem to be anything left of what Liz Truss promised. I mean, whether you agree or disagree with her, she sort of stood to her own party on a platform. There is nothing left. So how do you get up out of bed in the morning as Prime Minister when you've got nothing left to say?
Sir Steve Webb, you served as Pensions Minister. Thank you, senior Lib Dem politician, you're a partner with the firm Lane, Clark and Peacock, giving pension advice. There we are, there's the political and financial aspect for it, but we had a figure of £10 billion. What about the argument to take a fresh look at the triple lock? Sam Ashworth-Hayes is Director of Studies at the Henry Jackson Society. That's a right-leaning think tank. Where are you on this, Mr. Ashworth-Hayes? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. How are you?
I'm well. What about the argument that this needs a review? £10 billion.
So my stance on this is fairly straightforward, and it's that the triple lock is a very poorly designed policy that should have been replaced quite a long time ago. And this sort of stands regardless of the current sort of spike of inflation. I think the intent behind it, which is the idea that pensioners won't sort of see themselves become significantly worse off in real terms, is a good one. And I don't actually have a significant objection to the idea that you would increase your inflation next April. The problem is that in the longer term, the way the policy is designed, because it rises with inflation, earnings, or 2.5%, whichever is going to be highest of those three, you end up with this sort of ratcheting effect where it takes a larger and larger share of GDP over time, over a longer period, and it eventually becomes sort of fiscally unsustainable pretty much no matter what you do. So at some point, we are going to have to look at this policy and say, well, this is actually not going to be affordable in and of itself, and that's even before you consider the fact as well that, of course, the size of the elderly population is growing significantly larger, while the number of people who are going to be in working age is sort of set to fall as a portion of the population.
But noting what you say, that this is a constituency that's getting larger, isn't it political suicide?
I mean, well, this is a really interesting point, because what the Conservatives have effectively done is they've created what you might term their own sort of anti-growth coalition. Because if you look at what their core vote is now, or at least was before they sort of detonated past it, you're sort of looking at predominantly older voters, and their interests are not necessarily those things which are going to line up particularly well with economic growth, because they're not going to be earning anymore. Their stake in the economy is in many cases sort of limited to what they can extract through sort of taxation and their investments, and those investments in turn are pretty often going to be in property which they own. So what you end up having is sort of a large block of voters who kind of want to vote themselves large shares of national income, who don't benefit from, in the short term, from most improved economic growth, because they pay up in the longer term. They do pay the costs for those in terms of investment and in terms of spending forgone, and they also don't really benefit if you do anything to their house prices.
Sam, I will leave it there. Sam Ashworth-Hayes is commentator and Director of Studies at the Henry Jackson Society. Your views on that, plus we're going to get into the water and sewage story, kicking up a stink after the 8:16 LBC News headline. Simon Conway.
Inflation is back up to 10.1%, a 40-year record. The figure for September is usually used to calculate rises in benefits and pensions, but ministers are refusing to commit to that as government spending is reviewed. A damning report into maternity failings at an NHS trust in Kent is due to be published this morning. LBC weather, blustery showers, drier and brighter further north and east, a high of 19 degrees.
LBC
Alexa,
Travel, I'm Joanne Webb. Slow from...
Stop. Right guys, I'm going to finish my coffee, probably get a balloon video out and carry on my day, and see you later.